Hi everybody, it's Amber Marine AZ. It's nice to have you back for a visit. If you are new to my channel, welcome. If you've been here before, glad to have you back. So I had a couple of very strange weeks this past couple of weeks. The entire month of May has been a little weird. And a few days before. This is my Chrissy up here, for those of you who can't see her. Let me show you. Whoops. There's Chrissy. She always comes up and helps do the videos. Always. And then, of course, we have Spirit. And my little stitching buddy, Snowflake. Yes. Okay, that was not planned. Sorry about the movement in the camera. But, you know, hey, it happens. So, my husband decided on the 4th that I would go ahead and participate. As cute as he is with that. He's not a stitcher, not into it. No crafting, nothing like that. But his mom was a crocheter and crafter, and so I guess he kind of understands. It's one of those things that if you do it, you really love it and you really want to participate. And he decided that this being my first year on Flosstube, I should participate, even though I am not a member of Stitch Mania and have no plans to join. The last couple of weeks, I went ahead a week ago, so 2 Fridays ago, I joined Off the Grid Friday. And have been participating in that. Getting a lot done on Harmony with that. So on the 4th, and that'll come into play in a minute. On the 4th, my husband took me up to Joanne's, and then took me out to our favorite little Cantonese family-owned restaurant that we just love their food. Oh my goodness. And Julie is such a sweetheart, the owner. Such a sweet lady. She knows us when she sees us. She's just wonderful. Anyway, my husband, while we were at Joanne's, let me pick out a few threads that I needed to work on a couple of things, and a new roll of 28 count Monaco. So, I need that. I just haven't decided which wolf that's going to go into. But in the process, I decided, because of what he said, that we would go ahead and do some Stitch Mania, my own way. The first 5 days of my Stitch Mania, other than, of course, the 4th, because I didn't get any stitches in running around town, have been dedicated to working on In Harmony, which I will show you in a minute. A couple of minutes. But I was looking through my patterns and remembered this magazine that is from May of 2009, Cross Stitcher, which, by the way, those of you who are trying to figure out when these magazines were put out, if you pull back the cover, okay, the front cover of the magazine, down here in this corner, it tells you when this magazine is from. I know everybody has a hard time finding that in the Cross Stitcher magazine. That's where it's at. So I decided that we live in the Southwest, of course, Phoenix, Arizona, and my dad was part Cherokee, so I have in my living room a number of his Native American symbols, his mandan, things to that effect, and decided to add a couple of geckos to it with this pattern. And I'm going to show you the pattern, and then I'll show you what I did, because I did this in 2 separate colorways, and it's on my first attempt at hand dyeing a fabric. So this is the gecko, and of course I'm not doing it in this, I'm going to hang them up. This is the little gecko, kind of cute. So I'm doing that in the original colorway, what was called for on it, even though I don't like burnt orange, but it'll be fine in the house. So that first day, and this is on an 18 count, Ada, but it's super soft from dyeing it and then washing and drying it. So there's that. So all of the burnt orange, or almost all of the burnt orange, is in it already. And then on the following day, on the other half of that piece, I gotta pull it out from under Snowflake. She's trying to help. She always does. On the following day, I started the second one and got all of the purple into it. Okay? And I'm going to show you the colors that are going into it. So we have these two are for sure going into it, the purple and this turquoisey color. And then I'm debating on which one of these greens will be the third color. Teal, green, or kind of a piney green. So, I'll figure that out later. And then it requires black and white. And I may throw a little copper in there because Arizona's been a copper mining state forever. Hence, Jerome, Arizona. Our most famous northern ghost town. In Tombstone, we have Jerome, super haunted. Kind of cool, though. So then, out of the same magazine, I had saved this thinking, well, if I ever have grandchildren, you know, I'll stitch these. My 4-year-old grandson, of course. So then I started this, which is Under the Sea, and I'm not doing it on this blue background because I don't have any blue cloth. And each of these days, I've worked a little bit on In Harmony. Most of these days. Now, this is being done on a roll of, this called for an 8 count or a 7 count, and I went, oh my goodness, no. But I had a roll of 11 count that I had gotten on sale forever ago, which is way too big for my taste, but perfect for a 4-year-old. So that's the bottom part of his submarine. Which is kind of cute. Really boring for me to stitch, but, you know, it's for a 4-year-old. And these are the colors that are going into it. And, of course, that's when someone calls to irritate me some more. Sorry about that. So that's that. And then the following day, I started one more pattern out of this for my grandson. Again, this one called for, I'm sorry, the Under the Sea called for an 11 count. It was this one that called for like a ridiculously low count fabric. In fact, I'll look on here and see what that was supposed to be. Because I looked at that and went, ooh, no, this is bad enough. It's supposed to be on a 10 count Tula. Never gonna happen. 11 count's bad enough. So it's the nursery rhyme, hey diddle diddle, the cat and the fiddle, the cow jumped over the moon. But I'm not doing it like this, I'm hanging it up for him, because that's what he wants. So that's what came out of there. So then I was looking, I'll show you what that looks like, and then I'll show you what I was looking at next, because I almost skipped this step, of course, because I'm me today. So also on an 11 count, and all I did was put a few stitches into the moon. That was it. And I have changed the colors on this. When we get a little further into it, I'll show you that I didn't have all of the required colors for it. And of course, this one was originally done in anchor cut threads, which, no thanks. I'm not an anchor person. I've stitched with it once, threw it away. I just didn't like it. It's too pilly and doesn't have a nice hand to it to work with, and that bothered me. So I just never did it. And this has a wide array of thread colors, and I don't even have all of them in here yet, because I have to go buy a couple or decide on the final colors. But you can see, you know, it's a lot of different colors. Very bright colors to stimulate this kid. My grandson has speech delay, and he has auditory processing disorder and oppositional defiance disorder. So, yeah, he's a handful. A serious handful. Okay, so the next thing I decided on was to start on my Winnie the Pooh series. Now, the reason I originally bought this book was because I collect Tigger stuff and Scooby-Doo stuff. Have all my life. This particular booklet benefited the Komen, Arkansas race for the cure. I'm nowhere near Arkansas, obviously. Never going there. Not my thing. So I decided to work on this book, which I've had for ever. Ever. And most of it's just pattern, but I'll show you the pieces that I have started on as soon as I get to the right page. The one that I'm doing right now is on which page? They make this complicated in this book, let me tell you. Some of them they don't even show. It's kind of weird. Now, they did this as a pillow. I'm not into pillow finishes because my puppies would just use them for chew toys. So, I'm doing this right now, and that's the one I'm showing you. This was started a couple of days ago. And this is on a 14 count Aida, and let me tell you, I wish I had pre-washed it and softened it. because this stuff is like working on a stiff board. So I stopped where I was for the day and have decided from there I will just go ahead and wash it and work on it. So this is the bottom part of Eeyore's eyes right here. And I got that into him for that day and then worked on In Harmony some. I can't let my puppy piece go. I just can't. And then, hi Chrissy, mind your way, sweetness. She's so cute. She is. She's so sweet. So my start for today is going to be, I have to make the final decision between these two. It's either going to be this one that says blustery days, which I'm sure I won't put that writing into it. We have a lot of wind. Or it'll be this one, which I love, which are splashy days, because I wish we had more rain. Last year we got 8 or 10 days of rain. That was it. And we got very little of it. And that's what this piece is going to be. So this is still empty. I haven't started it yet today. Almost started it last night, and then I thought, nah, it's kind of cheating. So instead I worked more on In Harmony. And then the next two I have lined up, because you can see I've already got the cloth. But all the threads are in the other two for it, of course, because that's how my life works. I love autumn. It's my favorite time of the year. At least when I was a kid, is going to be this one. I just love that piece. My daughter Sarah doesn't like the fact that Piglet's not in it, because she's been called Piglet her whole life, but that's just tough. So that's all of the Winnie the Poohs. And then this one, I can't really show you anything except the envelope that contains the threads that Amanda made for me, because what I'm doing with it is kind of a surprise for her. So, you won't really get to see much of that. So those are going to be my Maynia starts until I can get a few more threads and another roll of Monaco and start the next of the wolves. The series of wolves. So let me show you how In Harmony is doing. I had to take out a huge chunk of it because apparently with my grandson here, I get a little distracted. And I ended up doing all the stitches exactly right, but one stitch over too far for this section, which was all of this right here. So I had to take all of that out and put it back in. Yeah, that was really not a fun time for me. And then I found a problem up here in this charcoal gray, which is kind of hard to see. There you go. And I had to restitch this part of the charcoal gray in Frosty's picture. And then I added all the rest of it the next day. But this is where it's at, guys. I'm going to finish up what I was doing on it yesterday, which is this thread you see hanging here. You can finally see part of Chrissy's little nose and mouth. So I'll finish putting that in today. And one more set of these strands, which will go into Frosty and Snowy. And then I'll probably start filling in the moon. So let me pull this up slowly enough that you can see. It has really grown, guys. And I would be so much further had I not had to take all that out. And this big puppy you see here represents my Snowy. And I got quite a bit of the blue put into him that needed to be done in around his mouth and nose and down here at the base of his ear. So that's it for where I'm at with my stitching. A lot. Way too much for me. I don't know how I'm going to do at continuing to work on these whips as I go along. Because I'm really a very monogamous stitcher, and this has been driving me crazy trying to do this. Because I just want to pick them up and finish them, especially those geckos, because they're already, you know, a third of the way done. So, they're very small, very easy, and on 18 count they turned out nice and tiny, which is perfect because I want them in between pieces that belong to my dad. Other than that, guys, it's just been a crazy couple of weeks. An absolutely crazy couple of weeks. My husband's had to run all over Maricopa County with his dad. Doctor's appointments and a bunch of other stuff that's gone on. So, there's that. And dealing with the house and the grandson and our kids, and oh yeah, I chopped off my hair. It was so broken, guys, and it was down to here, but it was so broken and coming out in my brush constantly, and I said, I'm done, just chop it off. Because it seems like every other year I cut off my hair. Yeah. That's just me. My coffee in my Navy cup. That used to be my dad's. Other than that, guys, there's not a lot going on. It's been so incredibly hot here. I hear people talking about how it's heating up back east in the south. Guys, we hit 106 degrees the other day, and it's going to hit 105 to 106 today. So, seriously, I get you guys have humidity. I get that. That's why I don't live there. But we'll definitely break 122 this year without question. It's not even a consideration, will we? Yeah, we will. We've already had one issue with a heat-related injury. Last year we had ridiculous number of heat-related deaths because people don't realize what's going on out there, and they go hike up these mountain trails and things, and it's very sad. And it's very silly to do. It really is. And the news tells them all the time, don't do it. You hear it on the radio, you hear it on TV, but they still run around and do it. They're just not thinking. And I'm in my favorite nightie today. So Caroline, if you see this, you were talking about pajama day for your son. This is one of those days I'm hurting so badly with this migraine and neck ache. I am not getting out of bed except to get my coffee and take my puppies out. So I have, today has been canceled, go back to bed. And yes, I know that's backwards for you guys because I'm doing this on the selfie view. I only have my phone to film with, so that's what you get. Sorry. This was a very quick update, and I'm sorry it's not longer, but there really isn't much more to report. It's just what it is. Mother's Day, my husband is planning to take me back to my favorite Chinese restaurant, and then I plan on spending the rest of the day working on my stitching on In Harmony, unless he gets me another roll of Monaco and some more threads. In that case, I will probably add one of the other wools to my starts. I haven't made a final decision on which one, but I really want to get these done and hung up for my babies, in honor of my babies. Because at some point I want to find a way to design one with all of the puppies in it. The ones that were my three, my babies, Snowy, Frosty, and Chrissy. Excuse me, guys, it's allergy season here. Snowy and Frosty are now my Esky angels. Chrissy is, thank goodness, still with me. And I also want to add Ladybug and Snowflake and Spirit and our one non-white one, who is half American Eskimo, but he's half Chihuahua, Spooky Doo, into it. Because I guess it's okay to have one non-white puppy. He's really kind of a pain, but we love him. And we rescued him because he needed rescuing. He was so little. So yeah, that is it for this week. I will be continuing to start my other projects, which you see I have 2 or 3 more in my queue to start with. Sorry, you'll hear musician terms out of me all the time because I was a vocalist and musician for so long and a nurse for so long that those things come up. So I have 3 more in my queue to start, one of which will be today, and that one I have to make a final decision. Is it going to be the rainy day one or the autumn windy day one? I don't know. I don't have 666 red. I just don't have it. I really don't use it very often. I'm a 321 Christmas red kind of girl for my reds. Yeah. So I just don't have it. So unless my husband says, yeah, we can go get that, I don't know what I'm going to do. Because they're quite different in their shade of red. And that is it for the week. I hope you all have a wonderful, fun, stitchy weekend. Friday off the grid, of course, I will be doing my work on In Harmony this week. Last week I posted that I was working on both In Harmony and the first of the geckos, the orange one. And this week I'm just going to concentrate on In Harmony because that's it in the evening, and ouch. I don't have plans to spend my Friday night doing anything else. I only have one season finale this week on my shows, and the other 2 that I watch have already ended for the year. So, That's why I was able to join Friday Off the Grid, because my shows are ending. Otherwise, I lose a 3-hour block in my stitching time. So, that's it, guys. Other than that, like I said, it's just boring around here. It's so hot, you can't go outside. So, I'm staying in the house and stitching, and I've been doing a lot of cooking, and I'm just too sore to do any of that today. So, my husband's going to have to figure out what to make for dinner. Or we can scrunch some of the goodies we have in the freezer, like taquitos and spanakopita and things like that. Which is probably what I'll vote for, is the spanakopita. I love Greek foods. I do. They're wonderful. And for those of you who don't know, I just thought about that. Spanakopita is a phyllo dough that is filled with savory foods. And in this case, it is feta cheese and spinach. And I love both. So that works very well. My favorite one was at a Greek restaurant that's no longer there, and it was cremini mushrooms, which are baby portobellos, with feta and spinach, and that was amazing. And a slight lemon sauce for dipping. So yeah. I'm Sicilian. We're part Greek. That's what we are. So that's it for today, guys. I'm going to go ahead and start my next Winnie the Pooh piece, and then work on In Harmony. I didn't want to start another wolf yet because there is so much in shading stitches, you guys call them confetti, on In Harmony, that I wanted to make sure the pieces that I started were blocks of color, so I really didn't have to think too much. But as it turns out, the Winnie the Pooh pieces are a lot of fractal stitches. A lot. So, both of them, you know, that covers a gambit of stitching. There's something I have in mind that we'll see if I do it, that will require a lot of fractals and some specialty stitches, but it's my own design, so we'll go from there. I just need to get some graph paper and be all set. I hope you all have a wonderful Stitch Mania and a wonderful stitchy week. My thoughts and prayers are with all of you as always. God bless you. Bye-bye.